Segment 2, Northtown Neighborhood News Magazine. Thank you so much for joining us. Thanks to my entire technical crew, Sonny Hersh. Dial us up on the web, ntnm.org, community policing, caps24.org. And speaking of policing, somebody who's here, actually not an old friend of the show, but somebody who's here in a new guise. The former police chief of Evanston for many, many, many years, who is now retired and is in charge of safety. I guess I'll let him explain it, at Evanston Township High School, security and all that. And that could be a real headache. Having actually grown up in South Shore, I know a little bit the wrong way about that kind of thing. We're talking, of course, about, I don't know what to call you now, but I guess Chief Frank Kaminski.
Avi,
how are you?
Nice to see you again, Avi.
First of all, thank you. And
thanks for having me.
First of all, thank you so much. And, this is something we never really looked at, is school security, especially. That's really a big topic in the news right now, like crazy.
Very much a big topic about making sure that schools are safe.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of one of the interests that probably, after 32 years in policing, for me it was somewhat of a good transition because of my background in policing, and some of the needs are similar. In policing, you try to create a safe community. In schools, we try to make a safe community, make the schools safe for young people.
Now, how would you start? Now, with all the violence breaking out, is it reflected in Evanston, or?
Well, if you see it in the news now, all schools have to be prepared for any kind of crisis situation.
Oh, I forgot about things like Columbine and all this things that scare people like crazy.
Right, and just look at if you listen to the news, I think the news had the other way, 31 students in the city of Chicago have been victims of violence. So you never can, you never know what's going to happen. So, our goal is to make sure that we create a safe environment for the students, and we try to implement a number of strategies, similar like we would do in a community, to make sure it's a safe environment. So, we can talk about some of those strategies that we do try to put together to make sure.
The ball's yours.
To make it a safe environment. But thanks for having me. I do really appreciate it.
Well, first of all, I appreciate it. And it's a look at this kind of stuff we never get to see otherwise.
Right, and when you talk about people, one of the most important things is to make sure their kids are safe.
Yeah.
And so it's quite a challenging job. And I think one of the first things that we've done is to make sure that the school is safe by having a response plan, being able to respond to the various situations that may come about during a normal day. So in reference to that, we have a crisis plan that's represented by our school codes. And I brought a sample of the codes here, and maybe I could explain them to you. And it goes from various codes. We start off with a red, a yellow, a white, and a green. First off, on the code red is a code that we train this. We train our staff and the students throughout the school year. A code red would indicate that there's some kind of intruder in the building. And when they hear that code red, they're automatically trained to go to the nearest classrooms, lock down, remain quiet, and then we start putting our plans into effect to neutralize that threat. And we actually do dry runs on this with the students so that they know what to do. A code yellow indicates that there's a problem in the building, and there's an evacuation of the entire building. Everybody's out of the building. For example, if you had a gas leak or some kind of situation that we needed to get everybody out, we would call a code yellow. A code white is just the opposite of the code red, is that when there's a dangerous situation in the community around the school.
Oh, like maybe, God forbid, there's a gas leak or something? Or?
A gas leak, or there's a hostage situation across the street in the community. We certainly want to dismiss the kids into the neighborhood, so we would lock down the building from the inside and not let anybody out.
Oh, I never even thought about that.
Yeah. So there's different scenarios, and of course our code green is that there's an all clear and everybody can go back to normal activity. But as you know, in the news, you see all these situations. You just talk about Virginia Tech, about the situations there, and these school environments of how do we make sure that school environments are safe. And it's really the same model we use in policing neighborhoods. We use the community policing model and use it in the schools. that we got to get everybody to work together in building partnerships throughout the various different segments in the school, and so everyone's moving in the right direction.
Yeah, this kind of interests, well, more than interests me. You've got like Virginia Tech. How do you can't see that coming? So from your standpoint, when you see something that God forbid is new, that somebody pulled off, it's like, what you start figuring, like, what if this happened here? What do we do to prevent it? And
we continually go through scenarios, and we do mock drills about
like
what these things can
fire
happen.
drills when I was young. But,
we still do those.
Okay.
We still do the fire drills, but now we've expanded to do more of these realistic scenarios that have happened in the real world, to try to think through how we would handle those things. And you just never know. In today's world, things are different, and you never know when you might be confronted with one of those situations, and are you prepared to handle it? So we go through these drills and try to make sure that everybody knows what to do.
Yeah, where is Evanston Township High School, just for the people who don't know?
Near Church and Dodge, 1600 Dodge.
Well, I know because I've been flagged often enough when I try to drive by, by the crossing guards.
There you go, right. Making sure the kids are safe.
Right.
Sure. But we spend a lot of time to make sure that the school is safe by being prepared and being prepared to respond to that. But in addition to that, I can tell you a little bit about the staff that we have at the high school. We have a staff of about 35 full-time employees. It's a 24/7 operation. There are people there doing safety activities around the clock 7 days a week.
Wow.
And our major goal is, when the kids are there during the school, is to make sure that the environment is safe. And a lot of our activity makes sure that we're monitoring the hallways, monitoring activity.
Now you're talking 35 security people?
Yeah.
Wow.
Spread out over the
wow.
The entire shift, so we
Yeah.
cover, like we say, around the clock. We have our officers patrol in vehicles, as well as walking to school and the grounds. So it's a pretty extensive operation, but our goal is to make sure everybody's safe. And we're trying to make sure that our staff is trained. We go through regular in-service training with our staff. And a key to their success is making sure that they're connected with the kids, because that's where you get your information.
Yeah.
You hear what's going on and are able to avert situations that may happen. So a lot of our people are out in the hallways during the passing periods, talking to the kids, listening to what's going on, and trying to make sure we can prevent things. We're very preventive oriented.
Yeah, no, and now one of the things my mother used to tell me, and I'm a very strong believer in it, is an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure.
Right. And so as a result of that, and one of the other initiatives we just finally got off the ground this year, is that we redone our entire camera system.
Wow.
And
by the way, Sonny has too, for those of you watching. Sonny Hersh, my entire technical crew. So
and we've put down new cameras throughout the building, and these are some of the signages that have gone up around there throughout inside and outside the building.
Yeah, hold it up for them. I can
think
see.
I got
Oh,
it.
Wow. How many cameras do you have in the building?
Oh, we got about close to 380.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you've got 35 security officers. Is there any where anybody can be and not be on camera?
I can't say that.
Oh, I didn't think about that, but yeah.
But we've got cameras throughout the building, and that's another way to ensure security.
That's more channels than my cable.
I'm sure it is. But we monitor all the hallways, all the passing periods, and then if something happens, we're able to find out what happened. And certainly we can, especially when the kids do things that are inappropriate, it's right on camera, so there's no question as to who did what. We had a situation where there was some, towards the last day of school, where kids in the cafeteria were throwing food around a little bit, and sure enough, everybody got identified. So,
wow.
Yeah, and that was.
Oh, I would have loved that. I was a good behavior when I was in school. I would have loved those cameras.
So, I mean, those two initiatives, I think, are really important, just being prepared and having our cameras in place.
Wow, that's amazing. It really is.
But as I said, it's building these partnerships with everybody in the school like you would within a community.
Yeah.
It's building the partnerships with either the maintenance staff or the food service staff, or with the teachers or with the deans. It's still building those types of relationships and partnerships to make sure it's a safe environment. But we also try to do some outreach to the community, because I've always said this in either role, as the role as the police chief or now the role here. the school is really a reflection of the community. And what goes on in the school is usually going to go on in the community, and vice versa. So, if we really truly look at wanting to prevent crime in the long term, we really need to devote our attentions to the schools. If we can, get kids not to want to commit crime earlier and be more socialized, then, we'll have better impact on crime.
That makes a big difference, no question. How many kids are in the school? I'm curious.
3,100.
3,100, and okay, so you do have quite a bit more kids than cameras and security personnel.
and there's a lot of activities going on, but as I was saying, to try to outreach to the community, what is really important. And as you know, in the police department, I was really connected to the clergy.
Well, you were very big. I know Rabbi Klein, as a matter of fact, one of my personal favorite, and actually the senior police chaplain in Evanston.
Right now he is. Yes,
Yeah.
I made him the senior police chaplain after we had started the program with Reverend Norwood. But what we're trying to do now, as I've tried this past year, is what we do called a positive presence program. Mm-hmm. Our biggest problems are at dismissal. At dismissal, we must have about 3,100 kids leaving the building.
Oh, they all leave at the same time.
All leave at the same time. It's not a staggered
Oh
dismissal.
wow! I live 2 doors from a public school, but that's about 900 to 1,000 kids, not 3,100.
And if you look at the high school, it's really in a residential area.
Yeah, it is.
There's not really an easy way to let out a lot of kids, and that seems to be our most problematic times, when situations would occur or people who don't belong on campus start showing up and hanging out on the sidewalks and things of this nature. So what we wanted to do was to create a better presence. Yeah. And so I worked on a program with Reverend Curry to bring some of the ministers there after school, and actually some community people, to demonstrate to the young people that there is a positive presence and that other people are watching your behavior. And I think it was very successful this past year that we had all these other people involved in trying to create a safe environment.
That's great. I mean, I know from the regular police department how big you are on getting in tune with the community, and that's a big part of the battle right there.
Right, and it's part of building those partnerships and getting everybody involved and trying to make those connections. And when people work collectively, there's so much more that can be done, and so many more problems that can be solved, and when people put their heads together.
That's great. We got about a minute to go.
Well, just another program that we're starting at the high school is to try to deal with recruitment efforts in police and fire. We're starting a program for young people that they actually will get involved in a police fire curriculum this fall.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. Also, not only will they get high school credits, but it's hooked up with Oakton Community College that they'll also get college credits if they take this curriculum. It's a one-year curriculum. So we're really excited about that, and they're trying to get young people involved in police fire careers.
Yeah. Do you miss the police department?
Oh yeah. There's no doubt about it. It's like family. Yeah. It's like family. So and it's nice that I still have contact with the police department.
Yeah. Do you miss the uniform? Or?
Well, you can see.
Better?
We just went to uniforms at the school.
Oh.
These are our uniforms. We put all of our staff in uniform to have a more visible presence.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. Yeah, but it's just not going to be as heavy with the bulletproof vest and the jacket and the hat you have to wear and all that.
A little more casual.
Yeah, it'll be a lot nicer during the summer.
Right.
I want to thank you very much. Former Evanston Police Chief Ray Kaminski, now head of security at Evanston Township High School. I want to thank my entire technical crew, Sonny Hersh. Thank you so much for joining us. Join us every single, whatever. And anyway, Chief, thank you so much.
Thank you.
We look forward to having you on again. And
Please
thanks for the education. It's been great. Bye, everybody.